Those are the 4 steps. The I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And the part that I've, in my own mind, tried to figure out is how is this working? Because people talk about some amazing results they get from that, and it's less resistant than being angry, but still the language of, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Well, we don't ever want to be critical of what anybody's doing for any reason, because people are inspired to things that work for them. We are just, you might say, vibrationally accurate nitpickers, because we calibrate finely. And anytime there's a situation and then you're just saying words, that falls into the category of manipulation. Those words don't cut it after a while. Esther remembers when she got her first answering machine long before cell phones, and she kept leaving the house without turning it on. So she put a note on the door that said, turn the answering machine on. And after a while, the note just looked like the door. She didn't notice the note either. The note kept getting bigger and brighter and bigger and brighter, because it's easy to become complacent. So, if you don't mind, let's play with this just for a little bit. Can you give us a verbal demonstration of some situation to which you are wanting to maybe apply those 4 words?
Sure. So at work, I'm upset with my boss because he's micromanaging.
It just happened, because that's a kind of general statement. What did he just do?
He told me to do something that I knew I was supposed to do, and I was going to do it anyway, and yet he had to stick his big nose in.
And so it made me feel...
inadequate.
It made me feel like he thinks I'm inadequate. But it made me feel inadequate.
Inadequate.
Did you really feel inadequate?
Yeah, at some level.
Right, so you felt inadequate.
Angry. Picked on isn't quite the right word, but like...
Misunderstood.
And that feeling of what I call feeling of being micromanaged, of being told what to do.
So let's talk about what that is. It felt like bondage. Felt like being bossed around. It felt like being unimportant. A sort of small cog in the wheel. Criticized that even though it's such a small cog, I failed at it. That's heavy and uncomfortable. We get that. So that's the situation that you have been noticing, and it's not new, and calibrating to. So you've been calibrating to that since it's attraction. Now, we're not saying that he's not attracting too. He's attracting, he's finding your mistakes, even though they're proportionately very few. But because he's calibrating to them, then he gets right on it. And you're sensitive to him doing that, so you get right on it. So there you are in each other's experience. But never mind him, just acknowledge yourself is attraction. This is what I'm calibrating to. Otherwise, I wouldn't be having this experience on a regular basis. I'm calibrated to that. Now, open your book. You've written those words. And on the other side, now your mindset is. That's that situation. That is an isolated situation to which I calibrated in those ways. And it felt bad when I did it. But now I'm asking myself another question. I'm asking myself, who am I really? Who do I dominantly know myself to be? Am I ineffective or effective? You don't even have to think about that for a moment. I'm an effective person. Am I bad at my job or good at my job?
Great at my job.
Do I care about doing a good job, or am I careless about it?
Of course I care.
I care about this. Am I a deliberate creator or a creator by default?
I know that I'm a deliberate creator, but sometimes I create by default.
But see what happened right there? It's all right. This is really good. What happened right there is that you lost track of which side of the book you were on. And for a moment, you calibrated back to that and didn't feel deliberate. You see how that happened? Where if you reread what you've written across the top, but how do I dominantly feel about myself? What do I really know about the world? What do I really understand about how it works? Am I a deliberate creator, or do I create by default? Do I care about creation, or do I not care about creation? Am I good at this, or am I bad at this? I'm good at this. I'm a deliberate creator, and it doesn't take very long knowing what you know before you start seeing 33333 on all the license plates or whatever. It doesn't take very long before you feel it shift within you even as you do it. You come into the wholeness of who you are. And that situation, unpleasant as it was the reason that you calibrated to who you really are. And the most significant thing that we want to say to you is that because you did that, that's not where it was. Maybe it didn't shift completely, but it's not where it was. You have calibrated to who you are about that. You've been with us a while, so you've heard us make these statements over the years. We've said to you on many occasions that we are not encouragers of going back and cleaning up messes, because memories are not your friend. Memories are not a friend to deliberate creation. They just activate the old stuff that causes tripping points and holds you back. And anybody that goes into any kind of therapy or any kind, it just gets worse and worse and worse, because they just keep digging this up and activating it and then calibrating to it. They don't mean to, but that's what they're doing. And so we've always said, if this is something that you can just let go of, then just let go of it. In other words, we would rather you be in a position where you are so calibrated to your source energy that when something unwanted shows up, you just look in the direction of source energy and you never look back, and that would never happen again. But you know what happens with people that you love, that you care about, that you've been hanging around with for a long time, or jobs you've had for a long time, or situations you've been living for a long time? You have these deep roots. And so it's not the correct message for us to say, just look over there, because if there is an potentially active vibration within you, and there are those around you, and there are a lot of those around you who are eager in their insecurity to activate your insecurity. We don't mean eager deliberately, but we mean it's rampant. You got to clean it up. You've got to calibrate into your wholeness, because there will be another experience and another experience and another experience and another experience that will drag you back into that. So it's different places and different faces, but the same old thing just keeps happening over and over again until you calibrate yourself to your strength instead of to your weakness, to your wholeness instead of to that situation. Does that make sense to you?
Perfect sense, yes.
Yeah. And each time you do it, it's really fun. Esther can hardly wait to take her book. Oh, good, something to calibrate. Sometimes it's easy and fast, sometimes not so much. But in every case, she feels movement. And then when the next thing pops up, she understands why. She understands why. She can feel. You've heard us say that people would say, when they understand that we teach meditation, they would say, well, is it normal for all hell to break loose in my life when I start meditating? And we would say, yes, because when you calibrate to who you really are, you're sensitive when your calibration is off. Think about the most fine equipment that you have. Some things, like motors and engines and things like that, it's just about manipulating parts, and if you get in the ballpark, the thing will make a big noise and it'll get the job done. But when you're calibrating, you know that from your electronic world, you know that it doesn't take very much off in the calibration of something that's finely tuned for it to have a big effect in your life experience. And this is the same way. So you've been calibrating for a long time to who you really are. You know who you really are. And please hear us when we say this to you, because we're saying it to everyone. Esther, everyone. When you let a situation be your reason for calibration, it's a step one moment where you are launching a rocket of desire. In other words, step one is you calibrate to what you don't want. Step two is you have created an identical calibration of what is wanted on the other end of that. And then step three is you choose which direction you're going to point at to calibrate to. Have you ever heard step one, step two, step three explained more clearly? The situation causes you to calibrate there for a moment. And simultaneously, the rocket of desire is calibrated. You become new again, and your inner being takes that new stance. You got to take it too. You've got to take it too. And your inner being is always looking for an opportunity for you to realize you've taken it. You've taken it. See the license plates? You've taken it. Notice that thought that just came into your mind. Notice that perfect timing that just happened. Notice how you understand this. There are hundreds of things that are happening every single day that your inner being knows that you are ready to receive and understand. that sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. It just sort of depends on your mood. And your mood depends on where you're calibrated. Bad mood, calibrated to situations. Good mood, calibrated to the solutions, to the answers, to the wholeness.
Okay.